Hey everyone, it's Trey. I'm back with another video. Still in my car. I'm gonna order the piece for my ring light in the next couple of days. So hopefully by the time I record my next video, if not the video after that, I'll have my ring light and be back at the normal setup. People always ask me why I put so much on my life on YouTube, especially since I only have like 430 subscribers. But the reason why I do that is because I feel like being open about yourself and your life can really help people. It can help people feel like they're not alone and like they have somebody that they can relate to and just somebody that they can like trust. So I just feel like being very open about your life, even on the internet, it's a very good thing to do. Obviously there's some things that you need to keep private, and there's a way about going about putting your business out there. But overall, I just think it's a very good thing to do. I don't mind doing it because me putting my life out here helps a lot of people, and I get messages every single day about that. One of the messages I get a lot is people asking me about my depression and anxiety and just how I've been dealing with that. But something that a lot of people don't know is that for a while I did used to self-harm. Not anything serious, but like I did. And I also went to counseling and I had suicidal thoughts. So I figured, why not make a video talking about why I didn't end my life. Oh, in elementary school, ever since I could remember, I was always a shy kid. Didn't really have that many friends. I just stuck around people that I knew, and the person that I knew was my cousin and a couple other people that she was friends with. So I just stuck around them all throughout elementary school, so I never really felt alone because I was too scared to talk to anybody. I was always known as a teacher's pet for that reason, because teachers were the only people I could feel comfortable around, and that was my life all throughout elementary school. Then middle school comes around. I didn't talk to my cousin as much. All those friends that I did have back in elementary school were in different classes than me. I was completely by myself. I didn't know anybody, and that made me feel really alone. I also lost a couple of family members during this time that I was close to, and just a lot of things were going on in my life. I was only 12, 13 years old. I didn't know how to cope with everything I was feeling and how to deal with it. I didn't even know what I was feeling for the most part. All I know is that I felt sad and alone. I would spend every single night crying. I would throw up every single day before going to school. It was just a really rough time. All throughout middle school, this was happening to me. It was in 6th grade when it was the worst, because none of my teachers cared at all, and they made that very evident. I never had teachers that didn't care about me the way that these teachers didn't. And it was just a very bad situation in general. It didn't matter how many times my mom called to complain about the teachers and things that they would say or do, or things that they wouldn't do to help me, and nothing ever changed. So I really just felt like nobody even cared about me. All these things just started happening, and it kept piling up on me, and I didn't know how to deal with it. I didn't know how to cope with it. I didn't know how to feel about it. So I just felt sad and alone and isolated. I really just felt like I had nobody. And around that time too, I started to get made fun of for the reasons I talked about in my last video, for being in the closet or whatever the case may be. I was never bullied before. I didn't know how to deal with any of this that was going on. It was just a lot of changes that I was not ready for and that I didn't know how to deal with. And I don't know what caused me to do this, but I did start inflicting pain on myself. And for some reason, that made me feel a little bit better. Like whenever I got mad, I would slap myself, hit myself, and I don't know why I did that, but it honestly helped me relieve that anger or whatever emotion I was feeling. So I would legit put bruises on my legs or my arms because of my emotions. And there was other forms of self-harm too that I did, but it wasn't even anything that severe. There's different kinds of self-harm. It's not just cutting yourself. There's a lot of other ways that you can do self-harm due to depression. And it also got to the point where I started having suicidal thoughts. I was thinking maybe everything would go away if I just wasn't here, if I just wasn't alive, if I just wasn't breathing. Nobody notices me now, so why would they notice me if I was dead? It was just some very dark thoughts that I will never forget, but I'm glad I don't think that way anymore. It's just thoughts that cross my head that I will never forget, ever. One day, I was having really bad suicidal thoughts. I stayed home from school, and it was just a really bad day. This is the first time I even opened up to my mom about this, because I was too scared to, and because I didn't know how. As I said, I didn't understand what was going on with me. I wrote a letter to my mom talking about how I was very upset about this and that, and I'm scared I'm gonna do something that I might regret. And that really scared her. It was basically me telling her that I'm having these suicidal thoughts. And to this day, I still feel bad about that, because I didn't really realize what that would do to her until I started seeing what was happening to her as I was going through this. So after I wrote that letter, she started crying, she started freaking out, and she called me to see a counselor right away. I didn't like the counselor I was seeing one bit. Instead of trying to help me, she was telling me you shouldn't be feeling this way because there's nothing going on in your life. You're just handling everything wrong, and she basically made me feel like it was my fault. I didn't think she was doing a good job at all, and she wasn't telling me what I needed to hear. So I quit going to that counselor. Now, you might be wondering, why didn't you end your life if you wanted to so bad? And the thing is that I didn't know if I ever really wanted to. The thought crossed my mind, don't get me wrong, but something always told me not to, and I never could explain it. Through all the times I self-harmed, or the letters that I wrote talking about killing myself or possibly doing so, and telling my counselor those thoughts I was having. I always thought about it, but the idea of actually doing it never crossed my mind. Was I too scared to? Possibly. But deep down, I feel like it's because I knew that it was only temporary. When you're going through those kind of things, it's hard to see the end of it. Like, you getting through it, and it's just hard. It really is. I've always had a very optimistic outlook on things. Even when I was younger and to now. If I'm going through a lot, I know I'll get through it. And that was one of the most hardest things I had to get through, but I know that I could get through it because I know what I'm capable of. It's like I knew who I am, and I knew that person wasn't me. I just needed help. Everything that I was feeling and everything that my mind was telling me wasn't true. And I had to keep reminding myself of that. Yes, it was a dark time, and I'm lucky that I didn't have that bad as other people, because other people who are going through depression or have suicidal thoughts don't see a way out. The only way out is if they do end up ending their own life. As I said, I had those thoughts, but I never saw any of my life being the solution to this. I felt like it would make everybody's life better, and I felt like it would solve my problems, but at the same time, I knew it wouldn't be the right solution. I knew that someone out there cared. At least one person did, and then my mom showed it, and I knew my family did too. But when you feel so alone, you feel like you have nobody. But I knew I had my mom, and I couldn't do that to her. I saw how upset the letter made her, and that really struck a chord with me, and that made me realize that somebody does care. Had I not written my mom that letter and have that eye-opener, I'm not really sure how things would have ended up for me. Do I think I would have ended up taking my own life? No, but I don't think I would have gotten any remote kind of help. As I said, the counselor didn't help at all, but I decided to help myself. And that's where the big changes happened when it comes to dealing with your depression. You need to want to help yourself, and that's what I did. I decided to help myself. Nobody else seemed like they cared. My counselor was awful, my teacher didn't care. Oh, if nobody else cared, I had to care. Because me not caring when nobody else cares isn't going to change anything. I just had the right mindset from the get-go about how to deal with things. I just let my depression overshadow it for a while. And I'm glad that I wrote my mom that letter, because it really opened up my eyes and it really made me realize something needs to change. Why I didn't end my life is because I have so much life to live. And I knew that. I'm capable of great things. I'm gonna be somebody one day. I'm gonna change lives. I know that. I knew that I shouldn't end my life because I have so much more life to live and so much life to offer and so much love to give and so much love to offer people. And I'm glad I didn't end my life, and I'm glad I didn't let those thoughts or my depression take so much control over me to where I felt like suicide would have been the solution. As I said, I felt like it was a solution, but at the same time, I knew it wouldn't have been. Don't get me wrong, there has been times where I lost myself, but I always bounce back. And that's what I love about myself. I go through these spells or these times, but I always bounce back stronger than ever. I just want to let you guys know that if you are dealing with any kind of suicidal thoughts, depression, anything, there is resources to help you. I'll link some down below. There are very, very helpful resources and very helpful hotlines. I highly recommend them. Don't be too scared to ask for help. It's hard to get help, trust me, I know, I've been there. But you need to help yourself if you really want help. Nobody likes going through this, especially when they feel like they're going through it alone. You just need help, because once you get help, you realize that there is so much more to life, and that this isn't your life. This doesn't have to be your life. You can get help, and you can learn ways to cope with it and learn ways to deal with it. That's what I had to do. I had to accept help for myself, and I had to help myself. I Googled so many different ways to help yourself deal with depression. I talked to so many people on hotlines. I found my own kind of help when I felt like nobody else was helping me. That's what you have to do sometimes. Sometimes you're the only person that's going to be there for you. And that's just how life is. So as I said, if you're going through anything at all, or any suicidal thoughts or depression, I'll link links down below of hotlines or just websites and stuff like that. If you also need any help at all, you guys know you can message me. My Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat are always linked in my bio, so you can always DM me on those. Or if you're friends with me on Facebook, you can always message me. Or if you have my number, you can call me. I don't care. I'm always there for you guys. I know what it's like. I've been there, but your life is worth living, and people will miss you, even if you feel like they won't. I don't want to see or hear about you guys ending your life. If you end your life, then you're missing out on so much. We are far too young to be feeling this way. And I know that one day it'll get better for all of us. With that being said, leave a like on this video if you enjoyed. Comment down below something supportive, or your experience with depression or suicidal thoughts. Be open, be vulnerable. It's okay. Let's all help each other out. Definitely subscribe if you are new. Tap the bell to be notified whenever I post. I post videos a lot more frequently than I used to, so be sure to tap the bell so that way you don't miss out on a single video. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for your support. See you guys in the next video.